Okay, so trans awareness and everything happened. It was at the end of the month and Easter and everything. Max was working. And I was working on Monday too, because apparently my calendar said it was Easter Monday. Max was working, like normal. And I wasn't gonna make a video because I was like, I make enough trans videos. We're not gonna make it. And then I remembered yesterday, I don't know. We remembered a conversation, an argument I had when I was sick with my sister about the whole, and I made a video, and I talked about it a little before, about whole deal about being like, the whole rise about, and then arguments about being like, oh, like underage kids and everything get top surgery and hormones and all this crap now. And how there's so many doctors and any doctor can perform the surgery and, yeah. And how you're like, oh, maybe there's not that many and it's more strict and like it's not an option here in Indiana because it's Indiana, but it's other places. And I was like, I think you're off and just trying to argue about crap and then, crap. Okay, so surgery thing. And then there was argument about, in the last video I talked about the identity thing. They're more pushing on that. Mostly just argument about underage crap, and then find about me and being like, yeah, just to be clear, I'm not against your surgery, but you might be making a big mistake, and yeah, it's a mess. People trying to find me while I'm sick. It's not a good deal. Okay, I don't really remember all of it, but we're gonna talk about things. Okay, I forgot about it again, but hopefully as we talk about other things, it should probably pop up again. Yeah, it was about surgery and everything. She was like, scars, and I was like, oh my god, that's the funniest thing ever. I now think it's the funniest thing. I didn't really think it was funny at the time, and I didn't really remember because we were fighting. We were talking about other stuff. We were talking about it in general. And I was fighting back because she was like, oh, you might regret it after you get surgery and everything. And she was also like, oh, she was trying to tell me I wasn't happier. She was trying to explain to me that I wasn't happier now that I'm an auntie and that I've been transitioning and everything, that I wasn't happier than I was before. She's like, no, you're convincing yourself that you're happier now, but you really aren't. And then we had to explain, and we're like, no. Because she's like, no, you seem more depressed now. You seem more irritated. You seem like you self-isolate even more now. I was like, no. Yeah, sure we self-isolate more now, but that's because we learned and we realized, we're like, oh yeah. Once we leave our room and we interact with other people, that's extremely stressful. Even if it goes well, it's extremely stressful. And interaction with people, we hate interacting with people. We just hate the idea, and it makes us angry. And we're like, oh, why does it make us angry? Because it's stressful. Because we're extremely stressed. Because we're already a little bit stressed and we're flipping out. And I was also like, oh yeah, it's actually normal for me to be stressed and a little bit depressed, just regularly. I was like, I don't need any triggers, and then life happens, so it triggers me, and makes me more depressed, and more flipped out. Life happens, because I can wake up, and I be flipped out and freaked out, and I don't have to have any dreams, or any causes. I'm awake, and I'm alive, and that's enough to make me depressed, and flip out, and have panic attack. Okay? So, I don't need anything, and then life gives me a whole bunch of shit. It just buries me with shit, you know? Yeah. So I was like, yeah, I self-isolate and I interact with you more, which means we have less negative interactions. There's less yelling, there's less talking, there's a lot better. I feel a lot better, because I was happy when I was alone, and I interacted with people, and I got angry. Especially since they always excuse me, they're like, you have an attitude, and I was like, I now do, because you're trying to point, you're telling me, you're trying to control me, and you're telling me that there's something wrong with me, you're trying to make me all follow those rules and laws and shit. Oh, that was another video idea popped in my head and I remembered. Probably gonna be like bitch face. Yeah, I wake up and maybe I'm happy a little bit, a little slight smile, but like my face is relaxed. Whatever face I wake up with, like I'm a little bit grumpy in the morning, then I'm gonna have a little bit of frown, and that's how my face is gonna stay the entire day. It's not gonna change, because it's just resting face. It's just how it is when it's relaxed. It's resting. This is how my face is when it's relaxed. It's always meh. Always as close as it can be to a straight line, rarely ever closer to a little bit more upwards if I laughed more and I was happier more. Or if I was upset and I was angry more, then it would be down more and or it could be more of a pout. And look more like an angry face. Just how my face looks. The whole tone thing, like, I don't have any control of this. I don't have control over my face, and I do not have control over my tone. And it's like I was trying to be sarcastic or something. But then I would have to, like, really try, but for the most part, I'm like, I'm not trying. I'm just getting words out of my mouth. I don't, like, you have a tone, you have an attitude. Where? Where is this energy coming for this tone and attitude? I'm just talking. I'm just trying to talk. I'm just trying to do something. And then you all put your emotions on me. You interpret whatever the hell you want out of me. I didn't do anything. I am not to blame. It's not my fault. Oh, that's probably what it's going to be. Not my fault. Probably what next bitch face is going to be about. A little bit about what I talked about in here. Oh, yeah. No, trans awareness, crap like that. Okay, funny moment about scars. I thought that was funny. Okay, we did a little bit before that. Okay, so... yeah, the younger generation, there are more trans people. I was like, mostly, people are just being... okay. Trying to figure out in desperation, because I was like, that's supposed to be the gay agenda. Okay, we're going to repeat a lot of what it said. But for the most part, for the gay agenda and everything, my part, like, the trans agenda, and we're not trying to make anyone gay, and we're not making anyone trans or gay. We are what? We're just telling you, hey, if you're a little weird, maybe this is it. It's like people are being like, hey, this is ADHD, and this is some of the symptoms. This is kind of what it looks like. This is my experience with it. And they'd be like, oh, I'm not telling you have it, or that you have to have it, or you have to learn about it. I'm just telling you that you might have it. That it's an option. That it's something different. It's something new. It's something that exists. Nobody ever taught me, and nobody told me about. I'm trying to just give you information. You can take it, or you can leave it, or you can learn about it, and see if it applies to you. If it doesn't apply to you, then you just ignore it and you move on with your life. Or maybe it doesn't, but it sounds similar, or you can relate a little bit to it. Then think about it and learn about it more, and see if it does apply to you, or if it's something similar to it, something different. Or if it helps you learn something different. Yeah. So, yeah. The information, especially about trans and everything, because they're all complaining about how trans youth numbers jumped up so much. People, like, they went at surgeries and everything like that. Okay. The main thing, and I kind of figured this out, like, the entire arguments against, like, the whole arguments, all the arguments against trans people and against getting surgery and all of that crap is identical. Same shit that is used for abortions. Especially about about teenage abortions, especially teenager crap. They say the same shit about teenagers, teenage pregnancies, teenage abortions. I was like, our system, our educations, our sex ed is completely fucked because they won't teach us anything. They taught me about STDs, birth controls. They didn't tell me that you could put the condom on wrong. They told me about there were 2 different types of condoms, and apparently there's one for girls who don't really get it, but apparently exists. The guys put in my pee-pee, and apparently you can put that on inside out. They didn't tell us that. Apparently, guys usually put on the wrong ones, so even if they put it on the right way, there's only a 70% chance of success of it actually working. And then I heard a while ago, it's probably been over a year, yeah, around a year now, I heard on the radio about how they were talking about birth control, how they were trying to make one, and it was in the human trials. I don't know if that came out yet. At least it's not super popular, and definitely not came to Indiana yet. But there's supposed to be birth control, and it's supposed to be 99% effective for guys. The guys can take. So they can stop having babies. Yeah, but, and their whole spiel and deal about, like, and they don't tell you anything about sex toys or anything. You can't be like, oh, you could just buy this instead. And you didn't tell you, oh, you could just do oral sex or hand jobs and crap like that. You don't have to it doesn't have to be, and sex isn't just where you can get pregnant. There are other types of sex. There's mostly just oral sex. And there's anal sex. There's not just you can get pregnant, and they're always talking about, oh, And they never say that, oh, you can still use, like, a condom, or you can still use birth control after you get married, and that you don't have to want children, and crap like that. They just expect you after you get married, and then you can't have any sex before marriage, and then how the fuck are you supposed to know what you're doing? And they don't tell you about toys or anything, so if you're horny, what the hell are you supposed to do? And they don't tell you can masturbate, so what the fuck are you supposed to do? So, yeah, so then you're like, wow, shocker, the teenage got pregnant. Wow, yeah, they're definitely not ready to have a kid. But they're like, oh, but they're definitely not ready to have an abortion either. And they'll be like, afterwards, the kid will be like, but I wasn't ready to have a kid, and I wasn't ready to have an abortion. But you weren't ready to give birth to a child either. Because they were like, oh, but you don't have to raise a child after you give birth to it. You could put it up for adoption. Yeah, with like the hundreds of other children that are unclaimed, yeah. You don't need to add to that. So just since abortion's not an option anymore, so you're like, yep, they're just going to say the thing about teenage pregnancies. So you're going to either have to keep the baby or give it away. You're not going to be allowed to get rid of it anymore. Even if it's from incest. You still got to keep the baby. Unless the doctor says it's immediately a health risk. Basically, unless it causes death, you can get rid of it. You're not allowed to get any abortions. Yep. Because before, everyone had agreed that they were like, oh, in cases of rape or incest, you can get an abortion still. Nope, not in Indiana. Done with that. Okay, yeah, so I'm gonna complain about a lot of things. But yeah, we're gonna start, and the whole, like, deal, like, I wasn't ready to have an abortion, like, no, and they were like, oh, now they're depressed, and they want to be. You haven't heard of women giving birth and being depressed because of pregnancy and after pregnancy? Like, oh, now they're depressed because they had an abortion. Probably because everyone told me, oh, you're not supposed to have an abortion, and now they feel guilty about it. Because everyone was so against it and crap like that. Because there's all these negative talk about abortions. They're like, oh my god, you killed a child. They are a child. And you're trying to make them take care of another child and make their parents raise another child, or give the child away to someone else to raise, or be mistreated and abused. And you want to make them feel guilty for not putting a baby out into the horrible world. Wow. And the whole deal with the baby's a parasite, because being pregnant is healthy. Not really, no. The baby makes you sick and is stealing all of your life and your nutrients. It's stealing everything from you, and it's making you ill. So now you gotta eat more, and you have to take more vitamins and more nutrients and to replace what they're stealing from you. And then you have to even take more of it because they're gonna keep taking it from you. Because this is all just a take relationship. They're just taking everything from you. And also, the body will naturally kill the baby. Like, why? Then why are there so many stillbirths? Like, why does the body just naturally murder it? And they haven't banned the after pill, though. That's nice. But yeah, well, like, they're getting pregnant because you won't teach them anything in sex ed. And they are taught the only way you can feel pleasure and horny, the only way to deal with it is to have sex. And they don't teach you anything about any of the other types of sex. Just only kinds that can get you pregnant, and they don't teach you or show you how to use condoms. They don't supply condoms. They don't teach you anything. They don't really explain so much about. They just tell you a lot about the different options of birth control. But, yeah, they don't really tell you where you can get it and stuff like that. No. Not real helpful. So yeah, they're not ready to have a baby, not physically. They're not ready to give birth to a baby. They're not ready to have a baby, to raise one. They're not ready to get rid of the baby, to give it away to someone else to take care of. Yeah. And then also, like, so with that, if, like, they're going to do blockers, which seems to be the only thing available, but they're talking about trying to push, and they're talking about how, there's apparently a new option. I was like, I've not heard of it, and no one else is. So I don't think it's real yet. I was like, maybe in California, I highly doubt it, where, like, a teenager could get top surgery. And I was just trying to argue about being like, oh, but any plastic surgeon can do top surgery. But almost none will, especially not for that reason. And only a few will actually do a good job, because there are plenty of horror stories on the internet just for top surgery, not bottom surgery. Just top surgery, because who knows how much crap is done with bottom surgery. Yeah. So, yeah. And then, I was also told that I have to get a specialist and everything for my hormones. And, yeah. You have to get all these specialists and everything for doctors for your hormones, and doctors won't even accept you, even though they have to accept you, even if you're gay, trans, whatever. They have to treat you as a patient, and yet they could deny you, and they could still treat you like crap, and they could still be homophobic and transphobic and not believe you, and not treat you. You're like, yeah, you could sue. With what money? Exactly. With what money are you suing these doctors? Yeah, it's faster and it's cheaper to just try and find a new one, but you probably won't be able to. But yeah. Yeah, that's the shit. Oh, I was gonna talk about shitty government, complain about that later. Okay, yeah, no. But they're like, they're too young. Okay, but they know all the medical risks. They're explained to it. They probably have to wait years. They can't really do anything anyway. It can't be reversed. They're gonna have scars and shit. Yeah, no. It can all apparently be reversed, because we all heard about detransitioners. It can all be reversed, and they're all adults, and they were all consenting, and they knew all the risks. And it's just, like, another mistake. I was like, that's the same thing that people will talk about, like, teenage pregnancies. But they never say teenage abortions. I've never heard them say that. They're like, that wasn't a mistake. Teenage pregnancy, that was the mistake. The mistake was getting pregnant. The abortion was the solution. Okay. Yeah. No, but online and everything, they're not trying to convert you. They're not trying to tell you you're trans. They're just saying, hey, this is an option. Not everyone's identical. Not everyone's cis and straight. Yeah, that's all online's trying to tell you. Like, this is just what it is. This is a group of people who are different than you. That's all I was trying to say. And then for the scars, and my sister being like, oh, but you'll be, like, persecuted, you'll be discriminated against, you'll be insulted, you'll be seen as weird. I've seen and been treated as weird and been bullied my entire life. And the scars, they're like, oh, you have scars, you might regret it, and crap like that. I was like, no. The scars from chest surgery will be amazing, especially since, and I don't get it, because some people are like, oh, you can just cover it up with tattoos. Like, I think tattoos are sick and awesome, so I'm okay with it, I'm more accepting of it, but I just don't get it. I was like, why would you want to cover it? Scars are hot. And yeah, I did stare at, like, Scar or whatever, and Simba, because he had a giant scar, and that's what I was attracted to. The scar. Scars are hot. Bitch, I'm a cutter. I cut my chest, I cut my thighs, I have scars on my arms, on my legs, on my thighs, on my stomach, on my chest. I have scars everywhere. So you tell me, oh my god, massive, big, deep scars? Yeah, no. Oh, and also, okay, this guy in school offered. He's like, oh, I can just, like, watch a few videos online and perform top surgery for you. As if I would trust the virgin. Virgin, straight, cis guy who is extremely into hentai. And is always just talking about hentai. And who was also failing French class, because that's how we met. And that's how I have a group to sit with at lunch, because this lunch period, because there were 2 different lunches. None of my friends are with me, and I don't have any friends to sit with, so I'm sitting with you. Because that's how it works. I don't have any friends to sit and hang out with. Okay? So, all that happens is, yeah, I was like, no. I was like, you haven't seen, and you didn't know I have a chest because I wear a giant bag of clothes. And also, later on, a different conversation, it turns out that you're pretty homophobic and transphobic and anti-LGBT. Because you're like, and back in the old days, it wasn't so confusing complaining about all this shit. Complaining about, oh, pronouns wasn't a thing before. It has been a thing since human language was fucking invented. Ever since there were like 2 sexes, they invented pronouns. And ever since they tried to invent the human language. And then it developed into the English language. Ever since they developed the English language, we've had these pronouns. Pronouns have always existed. Okay. Oh, but also, I think they and them, I found out, and because I was like, what are all these genders and everything? Okay, so there's the term zer. Just use zer. That's what I think you should be using, not they, them, zer. And the only difference between she and he for zer is how you spell it. Is it sir with a Z in the front, so an I, or is it an E for a girl? Zer. It's fucking zer, man. It's zer. Just go by zer. That's my complaint today, because I remembered, because there was like this cute video or whatever, they were like all the pronouns, they were like she, he, they, them, zer, and I was like, zer, I remember that one. I was like, I remember looking at that one. I've seen that one forever. I just see they, them all the time, and I was like, just say zer. Especially since they'll be like he or she slash them, and in other cases they'll be just like they slash them and nothing else. So I was like, just put zer. Zer is universal. It's used for both genders. Yeah, okay. So that's my newest complaint. I'll just put zer. Zer is your pronoun. Just use zer, please. Please, people. Please, just please use zer. Okay. Max must have just been sad because no one's using it. I haven't heard it. Just use the term zer. It's cool. It's hip. It's pop. I don't care. Just use something different. I'm tired. My brain is broken. I don't care. Man, that's pet peeves. Especially since everyone's complaining. They're like, you don't use they, them for singular people. I was like, you do. But it can be harder to keep track of in a conversation. So like, zer will just be easier. I just think it's not used enough, and I think people should use it more. And my brain is very stuck on it right now, and very, very focused on zer. I remember reading it, and it's the only thing I can think about right now. Oh yeah, but no. Scars make me laugh. Yeah. Being weird, yeah. And I was like super uncomfortable with my body, and then the whole like, yeah, there's a higher number and everything, because people were like, oh yeah, most kids suffer from, like, especially teenagers, and all of them suffer from body dysmorphia. So, I was thinking the last word was the same, but it's not, and I jumbled it. So, like, there's gender dysphoria, which is gender, it's different than body dysphoria, and that's why I was like, they're different things. Because if anything is similar, then I'm like, it's all the same. It's a type of body dysphoria. But just because you have body dysphoria and you're not comfortable and confident in your body, and maybe you want to try different clothes and different makeup, and you want to present differently, and you're just more of just in the experiment phase, then it doesn't 100% mean you're trans. Almost like a lot of teenagers and stuff, young adults, will come out as trans and then come out as something else later on. So I came out as a bunch of crap before I came out as trans. It was a long process. It was a long, long process for me. I was like, it's not uncommon. People usually come out as quite a few things. I was like, if you, like, no matter, people, like, oh, and then also my sister was like, oh, but people will, like, argue about it, and, like, what if you're not sure? What if you change your mind later? I was like, I have questioned everything forever. And I think she didn't get it even after I said that. I was like, I used to question for hours and days, all the time, just about, like, is your name really this? Is this really your middle name? Is this really your favorite color? Do you really like stuffed animals? I'll go on that for hours. And you're like, oh, it made more sense if it was, like, about the heels and makeup and nail polish or whatever, and the dresses, most of the dresses, because you were a kid and you didn't know what you liked, and you liked dresses mostly because you thought they looked pretty, and you liked you liked them because everyone told you looked pretty. And also, you learned later, as an adult and everything, you're like, I like dresses, and I really like them. I don't like them now, but I really liked them as a kid because it's as close as I could get to being naked, because I wasn't allowed to be naked. The guys could be naked. They didn't have to wear shirts and pants all the time. And then, like, the guys in my house weren't allowed to be naked because the women didn't allow them to be. My brother was almost never naked. He was almost always fully clothed. Like, even in the summer when it's hot out and he doesn't want a shirt, he's always, wearing a shirt. Even though he doesn't want to. Because all the women have to wear shirts, so you have to wear one too. Because do we want to wear shirts? No. Do we have to? Yes. So you must wear clothes too. Yeah. Yeah. So, everyone was fully clothed. Everybody wearing clothes all the time. But yeah. Especially since I would spin around in it. So you spin around the dress, and what happens? All the wind goes up. And it doesn't feel like you're wearing any clothes. Because it's hot, and it's in the summer, and you spin in a circle, then there's air circulation, and you feel cooler. And you just want to be less hot. Because it's hot in the summer, so you want the clothes to be naked. You just don't want to wear clothes. You're not comfortable. You just don't want to wear it. You don't want to deal with things. Yeah. So yeah, I like dresses. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, that's why it took me years to come out as anything, and I was always in denial and everything, and it wasn't safe or anything. And the more time and more talk to it, we learned more things, realized more things, and then we started to question it, and then we weren't confident, and we're not boy enough, so we're bi-gender, and we believed we were bi-gender for a whole year, and then we're like, oh, we're trans because femininity and masculinity is a scale, and it doesn't matter your gender. You can be masculine or feminine, it doesn't matter. Being femme or masculine doesn't mean you're a certain gender. Clothes and makeup do not define the gender, and do not define your sex. I knew there was a little bit of sway, but I didn't know how much sway there was. And I didn't know there was a lot of sway. And I didn't know that. And then we had to learn it, and we're like, oh! And so then we're like, oh yeah, we're a boy. that's what happened. And we're also trying to force ourselves to like girls, because we were scared, terrified men and shit. And we're also like, why are we trying so hard? It's another issue my brain wanted to reveal to ourselves. Yeah. Okay, but yeah. So, not everyone who comes out, and they're like, oh, the new number of being, like, the new percentage of, like, the new rise or whatever, of, like, oh, trans people are taking over. I was like, okay, the percentage is not that high in general. And then also, that percentage is a little bit lower, because people are they're just trying to figure things out. They're experimenting, they're figuring it out. Like, it's not set in stone. They haven't had years to figure it out to set it in stone, for the most part. Like, a few cases, they've really thought about it, and they figured it out, and it's been a few years, and they figured it out. And it hasn't changed after a few years. It didn't change. And for me, I question everything over and over again, 24/7, all the time, all throughout the years. And it isn't like, oh, I had all these doubts, and I had all these questions, like, a few times, or, like, for maybe, like, a year. No, I had it for years. Years. And you know what happened? After we settled on the identity and everything, and those questions popped up, and we still had those questions for years, the answer never changed. Like my favorite color. The answer to that question hasn't changed for years. It didn't change. After it decided that it was blue, it didn't change. It just changed the color, the shade of blue. Do you want light blue? Do you like baby blue? Do you like all the blues? What shade is your favorite? That is the only thing that changed. Okay. And maybe the second favorite color. It was like green. And then sometimes it's silver or black. But I was like, I still like green, but not as much anymore. And we do not like yellow. We hate orange. We hate orange. We like red. We do not like orange. Especially since everyone's like, your hair is the color of orange. And I look horrible in orange shirts. They're ugly. They're hideous. I hate orange. Okay. Orange is the devil. Yeah. We established this after years and wearing it for years. And finally being like burning and getting rid of all of the orange shirts. Okay. So Max has been out for a while. Since I was 17. So Max trying to count. It's not happening. Okay, I was 17. And I'm 22. 23 years plus 5 years. I've been out as trans and gay as 5 years. Okay. And the answer has not changed. It has not wavered under all the questions, out of the doubt, after all the people, all the religion crap, all the conversion therapy that my parents tried to do, all that shit. It didn't fucking change. So it's solid, and it's not gonna change. Okay. It is how it works. Okay. But yeah. Happy Trans Day, happy Easter, happy all that crap. Yeah, I'm one of you. I don't care. I don't care right now. I don't remember anything I was saying before. Yeah. But then if you like get it or whatever, and okay, just like how teenagers had to learn all the risks, all the information, all the side effects. It's gonna be the same for the teenagers. Now the information's gonna be let out. They're gonna learn about all the side effects and everything like that. They're gonna have to find specialists. They're gonna have to talk to counselors. People complain about it being too fast. It's like probably just in your case, but for everybody else, it's extremely slow. Or it's non-existent at all in some states. There's none at all. And then they're like, in some places, they're more accepting and everything, so it seems like it's going too fast. These transitioners are like, oh, I wish someone stopped me and made me think about it more. You had plenty of opportunities, and you fully consented to it, and you knew all the side effects, and you knew all the risks. Okay, it's just a mistake. Like teenagers' pregnancies. That's just another mistake they made. It's not unreversible, because he clearly reversed it. You clearly fixed it. Okay. And I don't believe, and I don't know any information or anything about, and I have not seen, and I haven't delved deep into it. But even if they do allow, in some teenagers, for the most part, you have to get your parents' consent. And I was like, whose parents are paying for this? Who is paying this? I was like, the insurance companies. I was like, most of them do not cover it. They're supposed to, but they don't. Your doctors are supposed to be supportive, but they aren't. They're not always. The doctors might be supposed to be able to do this, but they can't. Okay, because Max is pissed off because Max tried to just get a fucking allergy test. And then even for hormones, hormones and allergy tests, a normal fucking doctor's supposed to be able to do that. And you have to go to a specialist. And I was never able to go to that specialist and get a fucking allergy test. So, and since I knew I was probably going to be sent to a specialist anyway, so I was like, okay. And then I was like, my hormones probably do have issues, so it's probably best that I do have to see a specialist. So then I didn't, ask them to do it or expect them to do it or have any high expectations for them. I was like, no, refer me to someone now. I tried to figure it out on my own, and they were like, no, you need someone specific. You need your doctor to tell you exactly what department and what doctor to send you to. You need a referral. Or you need to know exactly which doctor. Because apparently there were a bunch of options. When I called, the hospital was like, there's a bunch of options, there's a bunch of people I could send you to. And I was like, what? And so I was like, okay. And so I went to my doctor, and I said, get me a referral. Tell me who to go to. So I can get this shit done. So we can't be like, you're just a little bit more moody and a little bit more depressed because of hormones. It's like, my hormones are always effed up. And I'm always depressed anyway. It doesn't have anything to do with the hormones. And the hormones being fucked up, I'll probably just add it onto it. Okay? And then if I think about it too much, then I'll be depressed about running out of hormones and shit like that. Okay? And the whole doctor last time was like, you need to see someone in your area, and you need to see someone else. So the next time we had an appointment, I missed the appointment after that, because I was like, in the last moment, you just told me to go see someone else. So, I don't know. I told you I didn't really want to, and you scheduled another meeting. And then I missed it probably because my meds stopped working. Little meds I was worked less and less, and then they pretty much stopped working anyway. And then we just kept taking them because they make us feel tired after work and help us go to sleep. But they gave us really nasty headaches. And it tastes horrible. Yeah. Okay. Calling about medications. Not the issue. Situated. I'm changing my seating. Not comfortable. I don't know what I'm doing, but yeah. Yeah. I was like, for surgery or anything, and I was like, even the only options available for teenagers aren't even surgery, it's just hormone blockers, and those are extremely expensive, and all it does, and they're like, there might be side effects, I don't know what they are, and the only thing it does, and they're like, no permanent, there's nothing permanent. The surgery, apparently, there's nothing permanent. And especially hormone blockers, not permanent. All it does, and it's stronger than apparently my Northrone or whatever, because my sister was like, why didn't they prescribe that for me? Why didn't they give me an option that didn't have estrogen in it, hormones in it? And she's like, it might have been a little bit of a blocker. But I was like, it's not, but it's not a blocker, it's not classified as a blocker because blockers are different. Because blockers have the power to stop everything. They can't stop your bones growing or your height, but they just delay your, what is it? Puberty. Trying to find the word. They don't delay your growth spurt. Just your puberty growth spurt. Yeah. And I was like, for us trans people, we just have to go through puberty 2 times. Mine was just delayed puberty. And you're like, it's delayed puberty. I was like, that. And everyone hits puberty at different times. And so they could 100%. I was like, they would have no idea if your kid was on blockers for a little bit and they were off of them. Because everyone got their period at a different time, at a different age. Everyone got acne at a different age. Everyone grew facial hair at a different age. It's all guessing game up genetics. And then all you do is, all the blocker does is push the hormones back, being like, hey, we're gonna your body's still making those hormones, but it's just suppressing those. It's like, you're still probably going through puberty, but it's not. It's just mostly your body growing a little bit and still having those hormones in the system, because it naturally just has the hormones even before you hit puberty. You probably still have a little bit more of it because you hit puberty, but your blockers just suppress it, so you don't have the rapid growth and the rapid changes that'll come with puberty. It's just delayed a little bit. It's not permanent, and then once you get off blockers, yeah, it all starts to happen. And yeah. For me, yeah. The specialist, especially since probably have to get full hysterectomy, probably what the doctor's probably gonna tell me. I'm hoping that we have, like, ovary cancer or something. So, insurance will cover it. Yeah. Max is opening for a bunch of diseases and shit wrong with... I hope I have all the problems wrong with the uterus. So we can get it covered by insurance. And get it removed. So it can leave the body. Because I don't need the uterus. I was like, no one needs a uterus to survive, to live. It's a useless organ. It's not useless if you want to get pregnant or you are pregnant. But you don't need to get pregnant. Nobody needs the pregnant. Nobody needs a uterus. You don't even need a uterus to be a woman. You just have to identify as one. To be a woman. So, yeah. Oh, that's a little bit into... I was reading Mystic Prince. And then a little while ago, I made a whole Mulan video, and then I was like, technically, this is just Mulan on steroids, you know? A little bit gay theme. A little bit of cross-dressing, a little bit, oh, I'm gonna save the kingdom, yeah, no. They were more ambitious, and I was like, they just now have superpowers, and they want to become emperor, and they don't want to just become emperor of that country, of like China, they want to become emperor of the entire world, and they're also Asian, but I'm pretty sure they're Korean, especially, because I look at one of their brothers, yeah, they're not related by blood, but I look at them, and I can match them up with a bunch of K-pop models. Same hair, same face shape, same build, same earrings, same clothes, everything's the same. They're at least the same. Okay. Okay, that's my rant and being hysterical about that because we were fun and it was nice and I liked it. Let's figure out my seating. This box is getting uncomfortable. Okay. But if you are trans, good for you. If you identify as trans, good for you. You might be something else. It might be a little while before you figure it out and you identify as something else. But if it doesn't change, then congratulations. Welcome. Have a nice day. We're trying to make the world a little bit better place. A little bit more acceptance. A little bit less violence. A little bit more awareness. Yeah. I also mostly just want to make this video because I saw Danny Phantom. And then that led me to think about and remember, oh, my sister commented on the stars. Haha, that's funny. I think stars are hot. Yeah, I like scars and tattoos. Okay, they're hot. If you have flaws, you are hot. Okay, me and being fucked up in the brain, like normal. You're talking about me delayed and don't remember anything I was talking about. Oh, yeah. I was a little bit freaked out, and I watched it again, but I was still a little bit freaked out. Because I was like... he was trying to find the trans people. He was nice and being supportive and everything. And he didn't mean it in a creepy way, but my brain took it in a creepy way, and I was like, it's creepy. I was like, why are you trying to find me? Like, why are you trying to attack me? Why are you hunting me? Why am I being hunted? Why are you trying to find me? He's like, why can't I find anyone who has trans flags in their bios? That's what, like, his complaint was or whatever. He's on TikTok. I'm safe. It's not TikTok. It's TikTok. Another thing I don't use. TikTok. Yeah. So I call it TikTok. I think it's the same thing. Apparently it's not a candy. It's an app. I don't know why they didn't call it that, though. I was like, TikTok. I think it's the same thing. Okay. Apparently one's a candy and one's a social media. Okay. It sounds similar, so they're the same. Okay. That's how it is with my things in my brain. It sounds similar, so they're the same. It's all the same. It's all the same. I don't get the demisexual. I get you're, like, only attracted to that one. Yeah. You're just attracted to that one person. Yeah, but I was like... But that doesn't mean you can't be ever attracted to other people. Like, I don't get it. I think you're just trying to say that you're not gay. you're trying to be like, I'm not into other guys, I'm just into you. But I was like, if you saw other guys that looked like them and that were like them, you would probably like them as well. You just don't want to be labeled as gay. So like, just take queer, or you don't have to say you're bisexual, pansexual. You don't have to put a label on it. You just like people, okay? I don't give a shit. Max being confused by things again. Not normal. Okay. Yeah, no, but I was freaking out because I was like, why is he hunting me? Why is he trying to find me? So Max was freaked out by an old guy online dating. I was like, no, we're not ready to date. We keep being freaked out, and we keep just trying to make friends online, and they end horribly. The first time, the guy kept trying to ask for nudes, and I was like, I don't have a dick. So I asked for my dick. And I explained that to him, and he's like, what do you mean? And I explained to them, and they still asked for nudes. I was like, nope. No, not what I wanted. I wanted a friend. And in your bio, you said that you were also open to friendship and not just relationships. You mostly just talked about friendships. Apparently not, because you just keep asking for nudes. And then the other one was like, they're trying to make me sign a contract and send them money. Yeah, no. And the other one was just creepy old dude. Old dude, probably not trying to be creepy, but you are over 30 years older than me. You are 36 years older than me. And it seems like you're trying to flirt with me. I'm not okay with this. Okay. No, I'm not okay with this. So yeah, Max needs to take a break. And I was like, I can talk to people online. I can talk to my friends. We can't talk to other people online. Otherwise, they were just like short, simple, nice, sweet conversations that just didn't go anywhere. Even if we were trying to flirt or whatever, it just didn't go anywhere. It was fine. And apparently it's either it's sweet and nice and doesn't go anywhere, and we can't develop real friendships, or it's fucking creeps. I understand I attract weird people, and that I'm a weird person, and that my friends are weird. I was like, it just usually means that they're depressed and they have issues, because they're human. And they have more issues than other people, and they're seen as weird, they're seen as quirky. Like, that's all good and fine, but that doesn't mean I don't know the difference between, weird, special, different, and creeps. And unhealthy things. One conversation lasted way too long. And all of them lasted way too long. But that one especially, the whole contract and everything, I was like, no. I said no, and I really knew no, and I meant no the entire conversation. And for all these questions, and then you kept forcing me and changing it to a yes. And it was actually never a yes, it was a maybe. It was always a maybe, and it was never a yes. They never got any consent from me. Trying to force me into things, not okay. Well, it's a different video. Yeah, we're probably gonna go on a rant about that next. Okay, we were talking about happy trans things. Happy Trans Awareness Month. It's not even a month, it's a fucking day. I don't know why. I'm not gonna try. I mostly knew because they had like a nice little posting a job. That's gonna be a complaint.